So students who learn differently, who have different abilities, and so, but at times have struggles. So it's our mandate to embrace them into our school, to help them wherever they are in their learning, and ultimately that they can be great, confident learners.
I'm Glenn Herbert, and I'm an editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading private schools to gain insights into their programs, culture, traditions, and leadership. This includes insights from parents, alumni, and administrators. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
Yeah, good question. I think it's a sense of community that we have at Montcrest. I think the second piece I would say is when you have an opportunity as a teacher to see the look on a child's face when she or he masters something and the confidence that grows in them, it's pretty amazing feeling. And I think the other piece is the nature of relationships here at Montcrest, I find are exceptional. I actually was a board member for a couple of years and have been brought on board as an interim head for 1 year. So I was fortunate to be familiar with the school, but I think most excited about working with a great team of teachers who absolutely love kids. As you can imagine, there's a share of meetings, but part of my priority list is to make sure now that we can move from building to building, is to be present and to be able to drop into classrooms and to get to know the teachers and the students better. It's part of the DNA of this school that people believe here that relationships are the key to good learning. And so it's really important for head of school to model that. We have a very special group of students, and probably a little bit more learning diverse at both ends of the spectrum. So students who learn differently, who have different abilities, and so, but at times have struggles. So it's our mandate to embrace them into our school, to help them wherever they are in their learning, and ultimately that they can be great, confident learners. A good question. I think that we hope that we not only attract students who are learning diverse, but also their siblings, because I believe that the level of attention and care demonstrated by our teachers, it really, really works for students who need extra support. But you know what? It works really well for all students and even those at the gifted end. Yeah, we really believe that all kids have amazing capacities to learn. They just do so differently. So in our minds, it's our mandate to understand what that looks like with the help of parents and information, and so that we can provide special supports and put them in place so that the young children can thrive. Very limited. We have a number of staff and faculty who have been here, a few in excess of 30 years, many in excess of 20 years. I would say the vast majority are probably 5 to 20 years. Good question. You know, Brian, I'm just in the process of having one-on-one meetings with all our new faculty and staff. So it's a bit of a challenge to answer that. But I would respectfully suggest that all the people I have had the pleasure of talking to thus far, when I ask them about school culture, when I ask them about what excites them about being here, it's pretty clear that what they value is the special relationships that they form with their students and parents. Well, one of the anecdotes that was shared with me, because I really haven't experienced it firsthand, is one special day at Montcrest is called Kite Day. And it was a day in which students make their kites. And because we're adjacent to Riverdale Park here in Toronto, it's a large park and open space. There's a community flying of kites. And if you can imagine all these bright, colorful kites in the air, it's a focus for the community. And I think that it demonstrates the nature and the warmth of the community and how they like to connect.
And do former students ever pop into the school?
Well, that's what they remember most of them. It's a special event. It's reflected on our donor recognition board. It's something that's part of the DNA. And as you can imagine, sometimes it's difficult to attract alumni as they go on to high school and exciting times. But we do have good connections with our alumni. Through the board, people have come back to sit on our board. So it's a remarkable connection. I think we hope to attract, Brian, students who are looking for a special learning experience where they could be understood as individuals because they all learn differently and maybe having different levels of success elsewhere. They want to know that their teachers care about them, that they understand them, and that when they need help, they are there for them. I think, as I mentioned, I think because our teachers are expert in a lot of different areas, but certainly with that range of diversity, we feel we can meet the needs of most any student that comes to Montcrest. But having said that, because of the nature of our campus, we don't have spectacular athletic facilities. So if that's something you want, maybe you go elsewhere. But academically and from a social emotional point of view, we think we can embrace all students. We have just undergone a strategic plan process that included input from all constituencies, students, faculty, staff, alum, parents, board. And what the data has shown is that the number one thing is the quality of relationships and the sense of community. And I think that there are clearly in any strat plan areas for growth. But as an interim head, my commitment is to continue the work that has been done thus far and to set the stage for this upward trajectory for our new permanent head. Anecdotally, I would say amazing, but what the data showed on these surveys was exceptional. I've been fortunate to be part of accreditation teams in a number of schools, and truthfully, I haven't seen that kind of a positive response in any of the schools that I have been honored to visit. This past year, there was a lot of communication from our previous head to our parent community, and because it was critical to ensure the safety of their children. And I think that good proactive communication and openness, accessibility are key. And therefore, I think we have really outstanding relationships with our parents. Good question. I think our approach is always to understand circumstance on any given day. We never know what the backstory is for any child or adult in our building. And so clearly it's to dig deep and understand and not to respond quickly. Um, and so I think that, that sort of approach demonstrates compassion. And I think that's what our parents expect of us. And that's what we're trying to deliver. Sometimes life's not fair. And I suppose there are times when, in a conflict, one student perhaps might be more responsible or the initiator. But I guess where we try to get to is as close as we can to a sense of what has happened. And but to be fair, and it's more about what they learn from the situation as opposed to how we respond from a kind of punitive point of view. Definitely compassion. And so when you think about compassion, you think of big-heartedness. You think of people who are self-aware and therefore really attuned to the needs and feelings of others. So that's how I would characterize our school, and I certainly see that in the conversations I've had with our teachers. There is what you might call because it's elementary, and because teachers know that fun and laughter and frivolity is part of that. There's a riskiness to some of this, and opportunities to push boundaries. The whole notion of being an individual is highly respected. So I would say, I don't think the word is tolerant, but openly accepting of difference. It's a great question. In fact, we have a complex of 5 buildings, and in fact, one of them, our admin building, is separated from the rest of the buildings by a private home. And the school has had a long and quite happy relationship with our neighbor. Over on the Montcrest Boulevard side, we have I think there is a retirement home for nuns, a religious order, and there's also a shelter home. And there have been times and better times where community members use the school. So we pride the relationship we have with our neighbors. I think the first thing I would say is know your child really well in terms of what excites them about learning, what they're successful at school. What might those challenges be? Because parents know their children best. So as you look for a school, find a school that meets those needs. All our children are different, and they all have amazing capacity to learn. And it is about finding that community that has that expertise, but just as importantly, has that deep sense of caring and willingness to know your child and to help them succeed. And I think that's what differentiates this school. All schools, we have so many great schools that are accessible to our families, but I think we can embrace a broader range of students, and we will embrace the family, the whole family.
For more information about this school, you can visit their profile at ourkids.net.